We is live on the Amarillo Project. Come join. We is live on the Amarillo Project. All right. We is live. Friday feels, baby. Let's do this shit. Yes, yes, yes. Just making sure everyone is aware that we're doing this. Ah, we is live. We is live. We is live. We is live. What is that from? Oh, that's from Peter Pan. All right. So let me just bring up what we were gonna watch today. We did that. One second, you guys. Sorry. No. Sorry, 1 second. How's everyone doing? Sorry, I'm way too close to the camera. Way too close. Let's do this. Let's do this one. Right, so I hope everyone's had a wonderful day thus far. Okay, let's watch these two. These are going to be very short, but also there's something, I think it's this, but it's making my apartment smell, I don't know if I love it or hate it, but it's broken. That's why. It's just spilled everywhere. It's called Libre. Julia, congratulations. You're incredible. I don't know how I feel about that, man. Just dab it on. Right. Sounds like everyone has wonderful news. That's so lovely. Well, first of all, happy Friday, everybody. No matter where you are in the world, it is Mother's Day weekend. We should be honoring our mothers every day, as we do. Yeah, it smells interesting. I don't know if if I like it or not, but we'll see. But it is a very sunny day here in Vancouver. And I have two very short videos for you all. I have seen one of them, and I have not seen the other one. We have first a Super Soul Sunday clip with Oprah, of course, with Dr. Brene Brown, who's also phenomenal. She's a speaker and an author, and has a few books out on Audible as well. And we also have the best advice Dr. Maya Angelou has ever given Oprah. So, yes, so let's just jump into it, shall we? We won't make this one too long. I also wanted to say to everyone that whatever words you hear from this moment on, I like making moments. I like for some reason, I like stamping time recently and going from now on. I really enjoy doing that. Remember that you are wiser than you were when you started this. That's nice to hear. So let's flip this around and play. All right, here we go.
In her second book, The Gifts of Imperfection, Brene says we need to look before we take the vulnerability leap and choose carefully who we open up to. So I love in Gifts of Imperfection where you say we share a shame story with the wrong person. They can easily become one more piece of flying debris, so well said, in an already dangerous storm. We want solid connection in a situation like this, something akin to a sturdy tree firmly planted in the ground. We definitely want to avoid the following. The friend who hears the story and actually feels shame for you, she gasps and confirms how horrified you should be, then there's awkward silence.
Oh,
yeah.
Then you have to make her feel better.
Oh, yeah. Have you ever had that happen?
Oh, my goodness. Where you're like, yeah.
Oh,
so
God.
now you have to put your shingle out for that person.
Wow.
Yeah, now I'm still in shame, and I have one less friend down. I'm like, yeah, you're gone.
The friend who responds with sympathy. I feel so sorry for you rather than empathy. I get it. I feel with you, and I've been there. If you want to see a shame cyclone turn deadly, throw one of these at it. Oh, you poor thing. Yes. Or the incredibly passive-aggressive Southern version of sympathy. I love this. Bless your heart.
Oh,
Yes.
Lord.
That gives me the shivers when you say that.
Oh,
That's
Lord.
like, I'm fixing to tear you down and God is on my side.
Oh.
It is the worst.
We've all been there. The friend who needs you to be the pillar of worthiness and authenticity, she can't help because she's too disappointed in your imperfections because you've let her down.
Wow.
Yes.
Painful.
The friend who is so uncomfortable with vulnerability that she scolds, how did you let this happen? The friend who's all about making it better and out of her own discomfort refuses to acknowledge that you can actually be crazy and make terrible choices. You're exaggerating, the person says. It wasn't that bad. Yes. And the friend who confuses connection with the opportunity to one-up you. Well, that's nothing. Listen to what happened to me.
Oh,
So
shit.
when you open yourself up and you're vulnerable enough to share something that has shamed you, what are you really looking for?
Very important.
I'm looking for the person who loves me, not despite my vulnerability and imperfection, but because of it. I'm looking for what I call my move the body friends.
Oof.
I'm looking for the folks who are going to show up and wade through the deep with me. And I think it's a myth that you should have more than one or two of those.
Yep.
You know, the
Absolutely.
TV commercials that show 15 of us laughing and doing that kind of stuff. You got one person in your life who you can call and say, I just told a bold-faced lie to someone I care about and I have no way to get out of it, and I'm in a shame storm of epic proportions. You have one person that look at you and say, all right, let's do this thing.
Wow, yeah.
I'm with you. I've done it. Let's talk it through. You are so lucky.
And if you have two or three, that's
Forget
it. Forget it. Lottery.
Yeah. And you know what we all do, myself included, is we steamroll over those people to get the attention and appreciation of the people who will never show up for us.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
So, like, you know, you may be my best friend and you might be all around me all the time, but those folks, those women at the mall that I don't know, they're the ones I'm really worried about.
Yeah. Trying to please or prove yourself to them. And you say, of course, we're all capable of being these friends. Yeah. But especially if someone tells us a story that gets right up in our own shame, that's when you...
Can I just pause for a second? Because doesn't this also relate to how we feel with the people that we follow and follow us on social media? This is why I think that we can really use social media to our advantage. Following people that genuinely inspire you when you look at their things, and you know, understanding that everything you see, everything that we see in our day to day has an impact on our psyche, has an impact on our spirit and our aura. And it's both what we see and how we perceive it. In my opinion, I think that's, why am I doing that? I think that's a golden rule. Somebody asked, what book is Brene and Oprah talking about? So this is Brene Brown, and the book that she's talking about is called The Gifts of Imperfection. She also has a book called Daring Greatly, and also The Power of Vulnerability. I'm trying to see all of her books here. Also Rising Strong and Braving the Wilderness, and Daring Greatly. I mean, so many. I mean, look at this list of books. There's also, she has a lot of these books on Audible. I highly, highly, highly recommend you purchase The Power of Vulnerability used or from a local bookstore, or listen to it on Audible because it is so powerful. It's one of the first audiobooks I listened to that was recommended to me by my psychotherapist. I would start with The Power of Vulnerability. I'm telling you to both have it in your hands and also listen to it. It is so powerful. But what they're talking about, all of these people that we want to give so much to because we live in a society where we should feel like we aim to please, right? Like my life should be lived so that you can go, wow, look at you, rather than my life should be lived so that I can understand how to truly live, and I don't want to fear life. I want to fear not doing, you know what I mean? I don't want to be afraid of living my life as fully and wholly and as authentically as I can. So I love what she's saying, because all the people that she is talking about, those toxic people, honestly are people that sometimes I follow and I'm like, I don't really like the message. I don't really like this energy. And we don't have to. I don't have to follow everyone that I know. I don't have to follow, you don't have to follow anybody. So, and vice versa. Putting the ego aside, people that know you don't have to follow you, because I'm not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and that's a stress off my shoulders because If my job was to just please everybody, hot damn, that would be a horrible life. So let's keep watching.
That the nerve, right? You're human, imperfect, and vulnerable.
Yeah.
Yes. It's hard to practice compassion when we're struggling with our own authenticity or when our own worthiness is.
Oh! It's hard. Hold on a second.
Hard to practice compassion when we're struggling with our own authenticity or when our own worthiness.
It's hard to practice compassion when we're struggling with our own authenticity. How true is that? It's like, if I feel like I haven't had myself, you know those days where you don't feel like you have yourself figured out and you're going somewhere and there's something that really sucks the life out of the very small amount that you have. And then it's like, how can I have compassion for anything, let alone myself, if I'm not even being true to who I am and what I actually want in the situation? That's why I almost want to get this tattooed on my ass. Choose the option that best reflects your worth. I said that the other week and I was like, that's a great quote. One time I unfollowed a toxic friend that I cared about and made me feel anxious, and he confronted me about it the next day, and I was like, see, I get it, because, and here's the other thing, and one day, all of us are gonna go through the 4 agreements and do like a 4-week course on this, because one of the rules in that book that I struggle with the most is don't make assumptions. Don't make assumptions and don't take anything personally, because to them, to that friend who is like, why did you unfollow me? How dare you? They're thinking you did something against me. Just like the other Friday feels saying that defense is an act of war. It's true. They're saying, you did this, you started war. And all you're saying is, actually, no. I unfollowed you because you're toxic. And maybe people won't understand that. A lot of people who are toxic don't even realize that they're toxic because they don't know yet that they have work to do. Which, by the way, if you're here today, you're doing the work. You don't need to be like, I'm not good enough. Look, we're here. We're living this life and we're all doing our best. But I just think it's so silly how we put so much worth behind a follow and worth behind receiving praise and whatever on social media. It's fake. It's just, I unfollowed a lot of people the other day, people that I say hi to and I'm cordial with in the Broadway industry. And you know why I unfollowed them? Because they're not really my friends. I don't need to follow these people and see their things and make myself feel icky. Like, it doesn't matter. If it's not going to matter in 5 years, I don't need to spend 5 minutes drowning in worry about it. So I love that. I'm actually going to write that down quickly. She says, struggling with compassion because we don't have something whatever with our authenticity. So I'm just going to write, can't have compassion if I'm struggling with authenticity. And authenticity, I feel like that's such a wonderful word, isn't it? It feels very open and freeing.
It's off balance.
You know what means the most to me? What means the most to me is if I go to someone with my shame story. And my whole mantra is, you share with people who've earned the right to hear your story.
Damn, that is good.
That's so good.
Right?
Doggone it.
Like, you have to earn the right to hear my story. It's an honor to hold space for me when I'm in shame. And so I want to share. And if I share with someone,
we need to just take pause with that for a moment.
She should.
Because this is how people get so messed up and violated.
Yeah.
It's like the Bible says, casting your pearls before swine.
It's true.
Offering yourself up to people who don't deserve to have that offering.
That's right. And you have to think long and hard about who has earned the right to hear the story and with whom am I in a relationship that can bear the weight of the story.
Ooh.
Wow. That is powerful.
And if I go to someone and I share it and they come back with one of those bad, not helpful, not empathic answers, and then a week later, a day later, an hour later, they call and say, I didn't show up for you. You were so much in my stuff. I couldn't be with you in that. That means even more to me. We're not going to do empathy perfectly.
Yes.
We're not going to have
Right?
the right.
We're not going to do empathy perfectly. I completely agree with that, because as somebody who knows that I believe that I'm a very empathetic person. However, sometimes, just like we do, because we're human and we make mistakes and we think we have something figured out, and there's another layer to that, and that's the beauty of life. You just keep going, you keep unraveling your story, and you keep going and learning so many new things about the world and yourself. I struggle to show up for people the same way I want them to show up for me. We're not going to do empathy perfectly, but acknowledging what it is in its purity and doing our best to lead with that, I feel like we just learn so much. Same, I was in a toxic friendship, a toxic relationship. And one of the many topics we made us fight was religion. There'll be so many times where I've disagreed with people. And I will say, I found that over the years, I feel like I gave myself so much to so many people who just either completely disrespected me or dropped me because I was too much. And that makes sense. That I look at the circle of people in my life, and it's so small and it's so beautiful. Quality over quantity. In my opinion, quality over quantity. You feel it so much. I feel like I don't show up the same way my friends do for me. And you know what? It's tough because we sit with that and we go, why am I feeling that? That's a wonderful thing to do when we're feeling overwhelmed with an emotion that has to do with self-sabotage or guilt or shame, to go, ooh, why am I feeling this? Why am I feeling this? Who, what, when, or why? Why am I feeling this? And I bet you could find the answer. And a lot of the times I've been trying my best to roll my shoulders back and release whatever is holding my heart chakra back, because it's been really blocked recently. And I think it's because I'm separated from my family and from Reeve, and it's feeling really weird. But it's making me feel like I have to put my ego aside, because there are many times where I don't show up the same way that I need someone to show up for me. But that's how we learn. That's how we learn and understand. There's more than one way to show up. And there's also more than one way to make a mistake and be toxic sometimes. But that's whatever. I would rather have the very few incredible friends I have than a whole bunch of people who don't actually show up for me. Anyway, don't we all?
Response every time.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Let me go back.
It does. It's so...
A week later, a day later, an hour later, they call and say, I didn't show up for you. You were so much in my stuff. I couldn't be with you in that. That means even more to me. We're not going to do empathy perfectly.
That's so important.
We're not going to have the right response every time.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. It's so overwhelmingly powerful. I have to take a break. I have to just take a break.
Oh, she said I have to take a break. And that's the end of the video. I just saw that someone put, I had to block a toxic family member's number this week because the gaslighting was destroying my sanity, and I felt awful about it. But see, I understand why you feel awful, but the fact that it's a family member and you felt like it was destroying your sanity, that's a huge word. We have to understand the words that we use, the adjectives that we use to describe what we're feeling are either untrue or true. I know this sounds crazy, but if I were oh my God, I'm gonna die, most of the time I'm not gonna die, I'm being over dramatic. But a lot of the times when I say, that really hurt me, that made me feel like I was overwhelmed or drowned. These words that we use, if it's true, then we look at it and go, do I deserve this? No. Especially when it's coming from somebody who is blood. A lot of people don't know when they're crossing a boundary. And I'm one of those people who, I'll fight a bitch. If I see someone hurting a family member or hurting a friend in any way, I will fight a motherfucker. I get so angry because I love my people so much. However, I don't like confrontation when it comes to me. So, there was a situation where I had to confront somebody in a workspace and go, hey, what you did the other day, that made me very uncomfortable. I don't know why, and I'm not going to ask why, but just know that action made me extremely uncomfortable and was very disrespectful to me. And I hate doing that. I don't like confronting people when it comes to me, because I think I can take it, right? But we don't need to. We shouldn't have to put up with things that make us uncomfortable from people who keep stepping over the boundary as if it doesn't exist. Because boundaries do exist. In romantic relationships, in friendship relationships, in all relationships that we have, boundaries exist. Even if it's somebody that we know and know very well and love, and we know that they love us, and there's a great thing of trust there, confrontation isn't fighting. Confrontation isn't, I mean, it can be. That's quite literally one of the definitions of the word. But maybe we should see it as, trying to find a word that's softer than confrontation. I don't know, maybe it should be confrontation. Maybe we just have to get out of our heads that it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's an important thing. It's an essential thing. If we're going to be around people for the rest of our lives, and be making, having conversations and making new relationships and everything, then we have to learn what's safe for us. Just like Brene said. What did she say? Can't have compassion if I'm struggling with authenticity. If I'm struggling with what I need, and I'm letting people come into my space and take, and I'm not giving what I need to, and I'm not receiving what I need to. How do you set those boundaries, especially in a romantic relationship, without hurting your partner? That's a hard one, because sometimes we're not on the same page, but I think the more that we can communicate to each other, say, hey, and it's about the words we use. You see what I'm saying? It's about the words we use rather than, you never do this right. I hate when you do this. I cannot stand. Why can't you? I found in my relationships, it's so much more important to go, so this is what happened. I'll be honest with you. I didn't feel great about that. And it works vice versa. And an apology or any way of sitting down to communicate with your partner. Hey, this thing that happened, this is how I feel about it. I feel like this would really help me. Period. I feel like that would really be, that's best for me. I feel like I don't work well in that situation. I don't respond well to that. You know what I respond really well to? This. You know what I love when you do is this. I love when you do that. I'd love it if you do this, rather than I hate when you do that. Yeah, confrontation needs to be healthy. It needs to be communicated. But also, yeah, it's tricky it's tricky in any relationship, because a lot of the times people want to please so much, right? So it's almost like, I'll make it easier for you. Oh, you hurt my feelings. It's okay. It's fine. It's not fine. The more we just have to rip the Band-Aid off, because then that will never scar. It'll heal and we'll know better. So, and it's helpful. It makes the relationship stronger. Any friendship, any relationship, having healthy communication and listening to, even if listening to, it creates a healthy growth system. Just like I love talking about humans like plants or growing things or living things, because we are, rather than, you shouldn't feel that way. Why? We're humans. We feel all those things all of the time. And to be able to grow together is very special. So I think it's important to have extremely healthy communication. And that sometimes involves confronting somebody about something that they've done wrong, or communicating a boundary. Very important. And it should not be new information. So the more we talk about it and the more we normalize that, yeah, we have to freaking set boundaries, I feel like we'll all feel a little more comfortable with that. So the second video that I wanted to play is the best advice Dr. Maya Angelou has ever given and received on, of course, Super Soul Sunday, because I'm obsessed. How do I help my friend who's going through a hard time mentally? I'm horrible at giving advice, but I want to be there for her. I feel drained trying to talk, but to be the person she can talk to, but I care. That's an awesome question, because I found the most powerful way to be or have someone be there for me is to go, hey, I need you to know that I love you so fucking hard, and I will always be there for you, and I'm going to keep checking in on you and making sure you're okay. And if there's a certain way that I can show up for you, please let me know. I'm all ears, baby. I got your back. That is so nice. I don't find for me that it's helpful when somebody tries to diagnose me or go, this is what you should do. I did this works for you. Because then it's making it about your experience. Just like Renee said, have those people who try to level you up and go, I did this. You're not doing that. I'm better than you. Be like me. That's horrible. Rather than true empathy and going, hey, I don't know what you're feeling. I can only imagine. I'm here for you. Feel me. I'm here for you and I love you. And I'm going to keep checking in on you, because you don't deserve to feel like this. Reminding them in soft, beautiful, loving ways and compassionate, graceful ways that they also have the option to choose the option that best reflects their worth. Just like sending them a lot of fucking love, right? So let's watch this next video. I've never seen this, so why is it going a minute in?
And although I was...
No. Right, here.
In 2000, when you were 72, I interviewed you for the magazine, and I asked you if you considered yourself wise, and at the time you answered, well, I'm en route.
That's true.
And how would you answer that now?
I'm en route.
You're still
I'm
en
further along than I was. But I'm still en route.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when I know enough. I know a lot, and I'm grateful for that. I know enough to try to live what I know.
Oh.
Now that's a lot.
That's a
lot.
Oh, I love
But
that.
I still don't have it all.
What do you think that you, Maya Angelou, everybody who quotes you, and I quote you, and then they quote me to you and all, what do you think is the best piece of advice you've given?
Well, Well, I'm thinking that the best advice I've ever given, I hope, was that which I gave to my son when he was growing up. He said, I don't have any friends. How can I get some friends? And although I was very young, I told him two things. I told him, in order to get a friend, you have to be a friend. Be ready to be a friend. And also I told him, there's a place in you that you must keep inviolate. You must keep it pristine, clean, so that nobody has the right to curse you or treat you badly. Nobody, no mother, father, no wife, no husband, nobody. Because that may be the place you go to when you meet God. You have to have a place that you say, stop it, back up.
Not here
You must
anymore.
not, no.
Wow.
Absolutely. And that's one I told you 25 years ago.
Wow.
Say no when it's no.
Yeah.
Say so. Back it up. Because that place has to remain clean and clear.
And that has to be a place within yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. That is the best advice. I know everybody who's watching
Oh
is
my
going to
God.
say, when people show you who they are, believe them. That's also very
That's a
good.
great quote of mine, yes.
But nothing tops having the place
Wow.
inside yourself that nobody else
Nobody
has
has
a right to invade.
No.
Yes.
Oh
And
my
when
God.
when the person comes with rude language to you or invasive language to you, you have to be able to say, back up. Not me, you don't. Don't you know I'm a child of God?
What is the best piece of advice you've ever gotten?
So many good things. I guess the greatest advice is to forgive.
Oh,
I
wow.
don't anoint it with anything. I just forgive it.
But don't we forgive? I've tried to let people know on the show, as you have taught me over the years, that when you forgive somebody, doesn't mean you want to sit down and invite them to your table. No.
Indeed.
Yes.
not.
Ooh,
I
we're
just
talking
mean
about
I'm
this.
finished with you. You done. Go away.
Yes.
Go away. Now I don't say go away and harm somebody else, but I do have to protect myself. I look like a ninny if I ask somebody else to protect me, and I'm not willing to protect
Yes.
myself.
Yeah, that's one of the great lessons that you've taught me too. You got to be willing to take care of this first.
Yes, ma'am.
Then you have enough to give
The
to
music's playing. I can't stand that. Wow. Okay. Let's dissect that then. Friday feels friends. So to have friends, you must be a friend, and to keep a place inside of you that is clean and pristine, somewhere that you know that's where you meet God. Oh my God, that is. Is anyone else losing their mind, or is it just me? Because that just... Go to bed. This will be saved. Don't you worry, on the Amadio Projects page. Wow. I mean, This is why when you might have, if anyone's experienced meditation or sound bath or hypnotism, they say, my recent hypnotherapist, we had 10 steps going down to a place where we slowly built together. Well, he would tell me how. He'd say, find a place, your safe space. This is essentially what it is. In your brain where you reside, right? And it's the same feeling that our spirit's not in our body is in our spirit, which I think is so beautiful. And it's kind of the on the off side of that, where there's a place in you that you have the power to create and to change and to grow. That is a centerpiece. It is almost like the foundation of you. And I like to think that that part of me is where my highest self sits. So that I always feel connected to that and grounded by that and inspired by that to continue to go forward. I think that is so fucking great. Can you all just I feel like I can see it in my space now, what that space looks like to me, and what does it look like? Is it luscious? Is it quiet? Is it clean? That's just so powerful to me. But yeah, it's Maya Angelou. And the other piece of advice that I love is hers, is when somebody shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. I think that's so beautiful. And that has to do still with who we let into our space. Yeah. Keep a place in you that is clean and pristine, because every day you go home to yourself. Every day you are home with yourself. Even if I'm out and about, and if I'm in a situation where I might have a little social anxiety, I can at least know that I'm at home with myself, which is all I need to know. It's not the most powerful thing. I think that's so beautiful, and it makes me feel, one, when I'm ever feeling lonely, way less alone. It completely takes away that feeling, and also it makes me feel like I'm exactly where I need to be. Does anyone else feel like that? Let's talk. What are our thoughts, or what can we talk about? I mean, a question that I want to ask everyone is anyone else feeling like they're going through a massive shift in their life? Because I always talk about the cycles of life, and we're always in one. I feel like right now, a lot of the people in my life are having the same lesson repeat to themselves over and over again. It's like beating a dead horse. It's like we have to get over this hump that's been holding us back. We have to unroot this poisonous root in our garden that is so deeply rooted in trauma, and we know it is, but we keep letting it grow there in our life presently, having nothing to do with the past. We know what happened, and we have to uproot it and put it in the bin and go, we know that's there, but we have to move on. Does anyone else? I'm glad I'm not the only one, because I truly believe that life is just cycles. And if we understand that, then we understand that there is no neutrality in life. There's never a moment where I'm just static and stagnant and unbudgeable. I'm always moving. And it's the same idea of you never step into the same river twice, you know? You feel stuck. I miss growth and change. I understand that completely. And the one thing that best advice I got when I said that to somebody, and I don't remember who it was, I honestly probably think it was freaking Super Soul Sunday. I was just asking it rhetorically, and freaking Oprah answered, was that I need to change my space. And that has to do with starting from the basicness of everything. And that has to do with the part of ourselves that keep clean and pristine. Am I actually taking care of that space? Am I taking care of my body? What are the words that are leaving my mouth? Even before they leave my mouth, why are they being formed in my brain? Why? Oh, there's the problem. Why am I not doing this? Why am I not doing this? Why do I feel like this? I have to follow that down and then find the root of the problem. Because most of the time it's something that we're not actually treating. We're treating like if there's like a really poisonous and nasty vine that's just popping from the ground, and all of the leaves are gross, it's like we can't chop off the leaves. It will still grow. We have to find the source. We have to find where it's rooted in our being and say, yes, ooh, that was painful. Period. I have to understand what this is and know that it's behind me now. It's so difficult to, how do I say this? It's so difficult to open the third eye, or open your eyes of the perspective of, wow, I'm constantly growing and changing, because it's hard to acknowledge it all the time, right? I totally get that. But the best piece of advice from somebody, I think it was, honestly, maybe it was Oprah's book. I remember I was reading it on a bus stop or train stop in Germany, and I was stranded, my phone had died. All I had was her book. I'm going to have to tell you the name of this book because it changed my life. I can't believe I don't remember it. The art of, what is it called? Oh God. Not The Wisdom of Sundays. It's not that book. Oh no. Is it The Wisdom of Sundays? I don't think so. I'm gonna type in, hold on, sorry. Oprah's books. What I know for sure. Y'all, this book changed my life. In fact, it changed my life that I'm literally putting it on my to-get list because I want a copy with me right now. What I know for sure. You have to get this book. You have to. And she said something in there that made me seem like if I'm feeling stuck, if I'm feeling like change is not an option, the mindset must have shifted. So why did the mindset shift? The body feels tired. Something must have made the body feel tired. It's not me. It's a situation. If I'm in a horrible situation, it doesn't mean I'm horrible. The situation is horrible. Do you know what I'm saying? We put so much on our bodies. We put so much on who we are. We attach so many things that we can control to our body, and then all of a sudden we're making rash decisions and reacting in a toxic behavior because we're holding on to so many things that actually isn't who we are. I get that though. Totally. Yeah, I feel the same way, Vanessa. I feel like I'm on the edge of changing, but honestly, I feel like I'm scared of it and holding on to the past. I know I have to let go, though. It's just hard. These cycles are hard because we know that we need to let go, but then we're still like, it's muscle memory. It's what we're used to. It's comfort of it. What I would say is try to put things or people or words or energies or foods or colors or clothing or smells in your space that remind you that you're going forward. Do you know what I mean? Yes, that's what I mean. If you're in a horrible situation, it's not you that's horrible. It's a situation. If my body, like we hold too much, and then we end up burying who we really are. That's why I believe that whenever I'm trying to get rid of something or get rid of a toxic behavior, it's not out of reach. It's already inside of me. I've just buried it. So that's why we have to sit and meditate and connect with ourselves and go, why am I acting like this? Oh, that's why. What? Whew. That made me feel icky. God, that's gone. It takes time. This is the practice of it. And then soon the practice becomes just the work, and you're doing it in your daily life. But I understand being scared of holding on to the past because that's what we're comfortable with, I'm going to take my hair down just because it's hurting my head a little bit. We did pictures today. Oh, freaking hurt my head. Yes, therapy. Extremely, wow, that just... Maybe I'll put it back up. It's all about the process and the journey. That's what it is. And if anything, it's about me in the process and me on the journey. And that's not egotistical. That's not narcissistic. That's not like, it's all about me. But if I want to live my life in a way where I wake up and I go, I feel good, or something happens to me and I go, that was not enjoyable, I still feel good. I have to understand where I've come from, where I want to go, and fucking meet the two, and make sure that my body and my psyche are not only ready for it, but I've made the space for it. So we can't keep holding on to these ideas and things we tell ourselves. We have to go, why am I about to say this horrible thing about myself? It takes practice. You all are already in the practice. You're not a step behind. You're exactly where you need to be. That's all I will say. This has been such an amazing Friday Feels. Making space. Like, when I meditate, it's not to like clear the mind or to stop thinking. It's to think about why I'm thinking these things and find the root, so that when I open my eyes, I almost feel like it's on its way out. So it's like stepping through, like going through the atmospheres and going, wow, man, we hold too much on ourselves. And it's so, not only is it unhelpful, but it's all untrue. So what I think, if I, with my small amount of whatever, I highly recommend everyone go and buy What I Know Now by Oprah, because I'm telling you, that book changed my life. I was reading this book. At a train station in Germany, bawling my eyes out because I was feeling so many nasty things and trying to push it down. And life, the rawness and the beautiful wildness of life was calling me. And I kept putting signs in my life to go, we're going to keep sending you signs, girl. Bump. Did they hit you in the head? Well, that freaking hurt. We're going to keep sending you signs so you understand that your potential is here. Keep going here. Yes, all about creating those new pathways. Like, notice all the judgments and make way for those affirmations, self-love, baby. Absolutely. Even if you're not feeling it. That's why I love writing things down. I still love, like, if you look at my freaking screen here, it says that to me is so much. You know what I mean? That is just makes, I look at it and I go, yeah, I love that. That's so my aesthetic. I love that. Even on my phone screen and the things that I see all the time and the types of things that I buy and the types of clothes that I wear, all of these things are actually in our control. And it's such an easy way to start creating the space. If the space around me inspires me, then I'm inspired. I don't know. Now I'm just talking in circles. Yeah. Make space. That's what affirmations are for. That's why on all my mirrors I write angel energy, because whenever I see that phrase, I'm reminded of where I am and why I do the work and how proud I am of myself. And I think another reason why we get scared to do things for ourselves is because we're not really talking to ourselves and making ourselves, we're not sitting down and looking at ourselves and connecting and going, I'm worth it. I mean, let that be another piece of homework. I bet that's going to be difficult, and it might be weird because we don't say that enough to ourselves. Sit down, look in the mirror, and to go, I'm so glad that you're alive because we have so much more life to live. So let's make every second count. You are so worth it. How many times do we do that a day? Probably not at all, right? And that might sound really grand, but that same energy can manifest in small ways, in the ways I was saying, creating a nice space for yourself, blocking people, block their ass. If they're toxic, block their ass. If you're thirsty, have some water, drink water. Have you drink water today? One of my clients actually talks to himself in third persons and says, yes, I love that. I do it too. I'll be like, Eva, I talk to myself all the time. So much so that, actually, no, I don't care if people look because it's helpful to me. It makes me feel good about myself. Invest, oh my God, yes. Invest in your sanctuary. Just like Maya was saying, the goddess herself, Maya Angelou, was saying, invest in your space. And that's so beautiful. Isn't that so beautiful? religion or not, it can apply to anyone, that's where you meet God. Doesn't that like already make you feel changed just hearing that? Well, I love you all. Today has been extremely fabulous. And this... I think I got this at Urban Outfitters. I think so. I don't know. It's been a long time since I bought anything new from the shop. I like thrifting. But yeah, I will make sure, we'll see if we can do this again. If not, because I'm pretty sure that I don't have any days free for a while. So I might have to make these either early in the morning or just switch it to Saturday, unfortunately, because we get the weekends off. But I love you all so much. Please know that I am rooting for you as much as I'm rooting for myself. And you're in it. If you needed to hear anything today, you're in it already. You have everything you need. Please, you don't need anything else but what you have. And what I mean by that is, for example, if you're wanting to feel confident, or if you're wanting to feel whatever, it's in you already. I promise you, sit with yourself and ask the questions. Why, who, where, how, what? You will find it, I promise. I love you all. I'll see you very soon.